my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. Each Pokemon to understand the power that's inside.
Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all.
Our hearts so true, our courage will pull us through. You teach me and I'll teach you.
Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all.
Gotta catch 'em all.
Pokemon.
Only 4 years ago, something was launched which changed the lives of a whole generation. Pokémon. You've probably seen the cartoon series on the television or played the game on your console. The Pokémon 2000 Video Game World Championships was the first of its kind ever to be held, bringing together children from all over the world. And what better place to hold the championship than in the Olympic city itself, Sydney. But before the World Championships, the European Pokémon Championship, one of the big steps along the path to Sydney, was held at the Millennium Dome in London. With all of London's greatest landmarks as a backdrop, the competitors gathered, primed and ready for Pokémon action. In no time at all, the Dome was transformed, a venue fit to stage Europe's first ever Pokémon Championship. It's a huge team effort, but judging by the results, it was all well worth it. Over 250,000 people entered this challenge right across Europe, so it's really a huge achievement to have made it this far. The competitors all line up together, from nations right across the continent of Europe. These players are the very cream of the Pokémon crop. And this is what it's all about. The first match sees the UK up against Belgium. But first, let's see how they both got there. The UK tournament was a huge success, with over 30,000 children applying to take part in 14 regional events around the country. The national finals were held at the Millennium Dome, and for those lucky enough to get through, the competition was extremely strong. Nearly 50,000 spectators crowded in to watch the matches, and as the excitement grew, the nerves began to show on the players' faces. Darren Van Vuren made it through to the semis.
It's going well. I've done well so far. Now I'm in the semi-finals and it's only 2 games to win and then it's all done. Very overwhelming.
Darren met Andrew Beek from Cardiff. In the other semi-final, Kent's Philip Bassett triumphed over the Glaswegian Dominic Martin to clinch a place in the final. But who would Philip have to face? We can see the intense concentration on the faces of Andrew and Darren as they battle it out for the chance to meet Philip in the UK national final. The game was close, but a mistake from Andrew allows Darren in to win the match and set up a Kent versus Essex final. Here's a look at the ladder to see how our finalists progressed through the championships. And for the UK national final, we'll be joined by our technical expert, 16-year-old Luciano Romano. He's been playing Pokémon for over 3 years. In the final, Darren is on the left and Phil is on the right with Electrode.
Electrode's speed is usually higher, so it'll probably go first. Yes, there it goes with Thunder Wave. That is going to paralyze Alakazam. As you can see in the top right-hand corner, Electrode has 321 hit points and Alakazam has 313. Hit points is basically the Pokemon's health. When it gets to 0, the Pokemon is gone. It's fainted. As you can see now, they're both paralyzed. Paralysis works like this. There is a 1 in 4 chance of the Pokemon not being able to attack at all. It also reduces speed by up to 75%. Screech there by Electrode has just reduced Alakazam's defense by a great deal. And now Alakazam's defense isn't that good at all, so it will be very low by now.
And Electrode is exploding and taking out Alakazam. This is extraordinary. Tell me what's happening.
Well, this is the support Electrodes, as it's known's job. It's supposed to explode to take out an opponent's Pokemon.
So that's 1 out of the 3 Pokemons from Phil and 1 out of 3 from Darren down. What do you think will happen now? What will Phil do?
Well, they'll have to bring out 1 each again, and Darren's looking very worried here. He is in a bit of trouble. Oh my! Look at that! A critical hit Mega Drain from Executor. The chances of that are like 5%. That's extraordinary.
So Phil is down to one character left now.
Yes, Darren still has 2. He only has Rhydon left. Phil only has Rhydon. This is going to be a problem. Rhydon is weak to grass, of which Executor is. And you can see Mega Drain, a grass attack. That's going to take out a lot of life from Rhydon.
You can see the hit points going down to 31.
31. There's only one more Mega Drain left in Executor, and that'll be it for Rhydon.
So Phil's up against it here.
Oh yes, Rock Slide is not going to do enough damage, and Mega Drain will gain it all back.
273 to 31.
Oh, here comes the last Mega Drain. It's all over for Phil. Mega Drain is going to suck the rest of Rhydon's health away.
And there we have it. Phil down to 0. Philip Bassett has lost his match to Darren Van Vuren. Darren is UK national champion. We spoke to him afterwards about the game.
It's Darren.
All right, my first victory!
I'm very shocked, naturally, and quite amazed.
Thought it was a good game, probably the hardest I've had today, but it was a bit lucky, I thought, that Darren beat me in the end, but still, I'm happy for Darren. It's cool.
Your Pokemon could use some more training.
But clearly that game hinged on an unusual move.
I came very close to losing, in fact. My Executor was fully paralyzed once, and if it had been fully paralyzed again, he would have done another Rock Slide. Luckily for me, I wasn't paralyzed, and I managed to pull off one last Mega Drain and defeat him that way. I won based on those Mega Drains of mine.
So after that battle, Darren Van Vuren goes forward to represent the United Kingdom. The national finals in Belgium was the video gaming event of the year. Nearly 1,000 competitors fought it out to be crowned the Pokémon Master of Belgium. The rivalry was intense. The national finals were held at the Walibi Wavre, and over 10,000 Pokémon fans turned up to watch the action. All the national finals across the globe were a great chance for all the Pokémon trainers to finally meet all the friends they've made over the internet, and Belgium was no exception. But as always, the emphasis was on the gaming action, setting up a final between the tournament's youngest player, 11-year-old Yannick Wouters, and one of the championship favourites, Mathieu Guillaume from Brussels. In the end, experience won out, and 14-year-old Mathieu won the right to play the cream of Europe at the Millennium Dome. Clearly, he was the favourite, and now Mathieu will represent Belgium in the coming championships. Returning to the Dome, we see Darren and Mathieu commence battle, but next to them in the quarter-finals was France versus Germany. In France, tens of thousands of children in over 50 game stores spread right across the Paris area turned up to compete in the early rounds of the Pokémon Challenge. Anyone who managed to win 2 rounds of Pokémon Stadium could qualify for the final stages. Of the thousands who entered, only 512 players had what it took to progress to the national finals at the Parc Exposition, Paris's premier venue. With practice all important in the Pokémon Challenge, trainers across the venue crammed in some last-minute combat time on their Game Boys. And did all that practice pay off? Well, it did for 15-year-old Florian Kova and 16-year-old Françoise Hangyi, who both made it through to the grand final. Incredibly, the winner had only started playing last February, but he'd already clocked up many hours of combat on Pokémon Stadium by the time the finals came around. In the end, after a hard-fought match, it was François who claimed his place in the European and World Finals. So, François goes forward to the European and World Championships to represent France. The German finalists were whittled down from the thousands of eager young Pokémon enthusiasts who took part in the 6 regional finals held across the country. Over 5,000 trainers battled it out for the right to compete in the national finals in Munich. But after some fascinating struggles and some great Pokémon action, we were left with a grand final between Berlin's Edward Kraus and Sean Darabi. The whole event was attended by nearly 120,000 spectators, and they were treated to a superb final which saw Edwin narrowly beat Sean to claim the title of German Pokémon champion. At 19, Edwin is the senior member of the tournament and says he currently trains between 2 and 6 times each week. But will that be enough to see him lifting the cup here in London? Edwin joins the rest of the pack to play for Germany. Here we see French champion Francois Hanying preparing to play his match against Germany. But the 2 remaining contenders were from the Netherlands and Spain. The Netherlands saw a field of over 500 contestants specially selected for the national finals. The Netherlands had just been the stage for football's Euro 2000, and so the Dutch knew exactly how to host a major championship. The national Pokémon finals only helped to prove this. The event was held at Holland's fantastic Six Flags Arena, and over 20,000 fans of Pokémon turned up to watch the drama unfold. The atmosphere within the venue was electric. Children from across Holland came together at what turned out to be a Pokémon extravaganza. It was possibly this that helped one of the early favourites, Stefan van der Veen, make it through to the semi-finals, but once there, he was knocked out by an in-form Bertus Youngblood, setting up a final between him and Joel Sanguiradi. Joel first played Pokémon about a year ago, but since then has played the game every day. And this dedication paid off as he came through to win the match and book his place in the European Championship. So the Netherlands will be represented by Joel Sanguiradi. The pre-selection phase of the Spanish finals was attended by over 70,000 visitors, as they watched nearly 1,000 Pokémon trainers battle it out for the right to represent their country. Spain has a reputation for producing some of the world's best and most exciting Pokémon trainers, so the national finals were a real feast for the pure Pokémon enthusiast. A special Pokémon zone had been set up in Madrid's biggest amusement park to host the Spanish national finals. Throughout the tournament, all the talk was of Sergio Garcia Maroto, who, despite having taken up the game only 4 months ago, already shows the kind of flair which makes him one to look out for in the future. Sergio played out of his skin and won through to the grand final, where he snatched a memorable victory. Even his opponent looks pleased for him. Although he practices up to 6 times a week, he said he was still very surprised at becoming the national champion. We'll find out if he can continue to display that kind of form and create that kind of excitement on an international stage. After the Spanish National Championships, Spain is to be represented by Sergio Garcia Maroto. So the first semi-final of the European Pokémon Championships, and on the left of our screens for France, Francois Hanying, and on the right of our screens for Spain, Sergio Garcia Maroto.
As you can see, Francois has just switched out to Starmie from Rhydon. Now against Articuno, that's pretty good, because one Blizzard from Articuno would have killed his Rhydon. Starmie is a water type, so Ice won't do that much damage against him.
France's Starmie down to 166 points.
Oh, and look at that, Sergio is switching out. Articuno is now gone, and he's brought in a paralyzed Executor. Remember, paralysis reduces your speed by 75%, and Executor's speed isn't too high either, so its speed will be very low. A critical hit Psychic, and its special has lowered. Well, that's done enough damage, and he's going to get another attack because Executor is paralyzed.
Starmie's points up to 321 there.
Yes, recover regains half of your health.
But what's this? Looks like another explosion!
Oh.
So what will happen now?
Well, Starmie's hit points are falling. Oh, but they're stuck on 40. Starmie has not fainted.
That's because of the recovery, yeah?
Yes, definitely. If he hadn't have recovered, then Starmie would have definitely fainted. So Sergio has now exploded and not doing anything apart from reducing hit points to Starmie.
France on 411, Spain on 142, and a switch to Jolteon.
Yes, he had to switch because Executor fainted, and France has switched out to Rhydon. Now, Electric Attacks will not do anything to Rhydon. Sergio knows this. He's going to have to switch out to another Pokemon.
And he chooses...
Articuno. Now, Articuno's an Ice type. Ice attacks will do damage to ground types.
Oh, Rock Slide.
Oh dear, Rock Slide is effective against Articuno, who is Ice and Flying.
Spain down to 0.
Yes, that's Articuno gone. I think Sergio only has one Pokemon left now. And as we saw, it's Jolteon. As you know, Jolteon is an electric Pokemon. Electric attacks have no effect on ground types. And there goes Rhydon with Horn Drill. Now, Horn Drill is a one-hit KO move.
Yes, but it's missed.
True, Horn Drill only has a 1 in 3 chance of hitting, and it can only connect if the attacking Pokemon's speed is higher than the defending Pokemon's. Now, in this case, it is, so this might hit.
That's a hit, that's a hit. Down to 0 for Spain. Sergio for Spain is down to 0. Francoise for France is the winner. So, Francoise Hang Ying of France is through to the European final. Sergio Garcia is out.
I'm not playing around.
Meanwhile, over at the second semi-final, Darren for the UK is down to his last Pokemon, Alakazam.
Yes, unfortunately, the German Snorlax took out his previous Pokemon Slowbro with no trouble at all, and Alakazam is not going to be able to resist Snorlax's attack.
An explosion?
No, that's self-destruct by Snorlax.